Yeah, I was saying I Han Scouts.
Yeah,
Super awesome horror charcoal pencil fucking thing. It's
it's
badass.
super nice.
And you were gonna say something. You were like, "Oh, hey, no, not remember."
I was just gonna say if I had something like that, it, especially it being your daughter, right? Like that you have that up on your wall is fucking cool, man. Like,
I love it, man.
yeah,
It's so cool. It was, yeah, tough to find a frame size, but uh, oh, and side note, I didn't do any like fake commercials or anything. I'm gonna say legit.
oh
They don't
man,
need
come
my
on, let's
endorsement.
go. I've got to get
They don't
some.
need it. They don't need it, but they have my endorsement.
Yeah, I, I guess I
Like,
need to try some. What's it called again? Give me the goods here. It's Willie's.
so it's Willie's THC infused special tonic. Social tonic. Sorry, social tonic.
Call it special, baby.
It is special tonic. So yeah, yeah. So yeah. So anyway.
Well, this will be this will be a fun one today. I got a feeling. I think we'll do.
You want to alternate? What do you want to do? You want one to rip
I
off
think
their five?
I think we could do if we did your 1 through 5 and did my
Yeah.
1 through 5, and we could. That's how we could separate them into kind of 2 episodes, right?
Yeah. 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 I think you're gonna have a lot of editing because I think it's gonna be real. Um I can go longer on some than others, right? So that
Oh
but
yeah,
the
I think.
but,
I mean, I would just say maybe keep it because I mean, if we spend 10 minutes on each one, that's 50 minutes. You know what I mean? So.
oh
Um,
yeah.
I mean, I agree. I think there's going to be some that I will spend 5 minutes on, maybe, and then some that I might spend, you know, 10 or 12 minutes on.
Yeah, I mean the thing I saw on this was that um the a lot of them are their own episodes on the regular format,
Yeah,
right? They were like, I came across these and was like, man, I could go fucking
and we could do that
deep
when we revisit, really revisit some of these, and go on a longer episode, obviously. But yeah,
for sure.
so
Because there's some that I was just like, oh wow, you've got some
yeah, we
and
got to
I've got some.
short time some of these to,
Yeah,
yeah,
I think these we have to treat this as a list and go, okay, this is can't I can't give a speech on fucking X, Y, or Z or whatever.
yep,
So
yep.
there was something else funny I was gonna tell you and I can't remember what it was. And I think you said you had a what happened to you? You're like, oh, I got a story for you.
Oh,
Something happened this weekend?
no, I was gonna use the old coffee story from earlier this week and hit it with a bunch of visuals because it was quite simply the worst spill in an automobile that I've ever had with a hot drink. Um, it
Yeah.
it's the lady at the I'm just gonna say it, the lady at Starbucks who handed me the coffee did
Right.
not put
We'll bleep that. We'll put some other.
yeah,
Yeah.
lady at Starfish. Um,
Yeah. Moon
yeah,
kick.
the
Yeah.
lady, yeah, Douche Brothers coffee.
Right. Right. Right.
You know, um, handed me the coffee and I put it in my cup holder, but she didn't put the lid on. So when I grabbed it to take that first sip as I was leaving the parking lot, when I picked it up, I got it up to about
Cars in motion.
stereo cars in motion, stereo
Oof.
height, and the lid starts to slide off, and I'm like, oh shit. And then the cup, everything after that was slow motion. The cup dropped very slowly. I stopped the car in motion very, very abruptly, and I'm reaching with my other hand off the steering wheel now to try to grab that cup. And when I hit the cup with this hand, it just,
On your way into work.
oh yeah, I had a tech meeting in about 35 minutes.
How bad was the crotch burn?
Oh, it burned my left leg just a little bit, just a little. I mean, by the end of the day, but it was super hot. I had to jump out of the car, wipe my leg off, and then I used a whole thing of shop towels that I happened to have in my car and just wipe out the console, the electronics. It went everywhere. It went everywhere, and I couldn't have been more, I was pretty hot.
Yeah,
I was pretty
I
hot.
would have been pretty
I
hot
didn't
too.
have time to go back into Starfish, but,
The chocolate starfish.
so, yeah, I got there, I ran in, I cleaned myself up a little bit, sat down for the meeting, then
Yeah, you were wearing dark
yeah,
pants.
so it helped, and then proceeded to go, back out to my car and kinda clean it up. It was bad. I just
Yeah,
and just so frustrating, but, people who work in fast food, especially in the coffee business, make sure the lid's on.
make sure the lid's on.
Yeah.
You know, that was one of those legendary, 80s lawsuits was McDonald's.
McDonald's
Remember
with
how
hot
hot the
coffee.
coffee
Yeah,
was? Like,
man.
I don't even know if that's real, but in my memory from growing up, that was kind of a urban legend, like, somebody made
I
millions
think it is real. We
suing McDonald's for how hot
may
their
have to
coffee
fact
was.
find that and post it up there, but I remember
Yeah.
that story as well. I wanna say she was a really old kind of an older woman,
Yeah, I don't even know if I had that much detail at the time, but it was just like,
and it's
you can get
not like it
$1,000,000
is
that way.
today in 2026. Back in the
Oh,
1980s, they served you
oh,
everything hot. It was fucking hot, man. I bet that coffee
yeah.
was hotter than the surface of the sun when she got a you know,
Oh, yeah.
it
Oh,
just
yeah.
everybody's too s
Plates plates were hot.
yeah.
Hot plate, man. Hot plate.
You go to a Mexican food
Hot plate
restaurant and it's the plate's not even hot
on
anymore.
fire.
Yeah, well, it
Yeah,
is, but, even some that I go to now is like a hot plate, and I'll touch it and be like, "Man, that ain't as hot as I
that
remember
ain't
it."
hot. No, dude, literally at El Phoenix, it was all the plates were in a pizza oven.
Yeah,
Like, we had a pizza oven only for plates,
yep,
like a Baker's Pride, 3-level,
plate
you just
plate
pack it.
oven.
Yeah, and I mean, literally, the beans or whatever anything you would ladle onto that plate would boil on the surface of the
Yeah,
plate. Like, when they said, "This is hot," it
maybe
wasn't like, "This is gonna be you're not gonna like the feeling of it." It would be like, "You will be scarred for life if you touch this plate."
yeah, put your tongue on it.
Yeah. "You will not have fingerprints if you move this plate. They're coming off." So, yeah, that's great, that's great,
I'll tell you
that's
what,
great.
there was, I was probably in the last year or 2, there was a Mexican food restaurant right down the street, and they brought me out some brisket tacos, and the plate they put the tacos on, tacos didn't go through any salamander or anything like that, but the plate came from a very
Mm,
hot source, and those tacos sat on that plate for a minute. When I put the taco up to my mouth, man, I burned my lips so bad. Um,
yeah, it's old school.
yeah, from the
And,
taco
maybe
being
not
on
a
the
great
plate.
way.
That's what they yeah.
Maybe that's not a good usually when we throw down like, "Hey, man, that was old school," that's like a compliment. Maybe
Yeah, yeah.
maybe there's a reason plates aren't 1,000 degrees now. So, well, okay, so you think I should start with my list and roll into what I had, right? But we probably need to what, set the stage before and just say, "Hey, basically, you came up with a thought," which I thought was great, which was, "Hey, let's do a list of, we're latchkey kids growing up in front of TV sets, whatever, right? The TV was the babysitter, da da da, all the stuff we talk about all the time. Specifically, HBO, right, was the big of the channels, of the cable channels, when you could ever get it,
They
or
were
if somebody had it.
yeah.
HBO was the king, right? Cinemax was like, uh, it's Pepsi and Coke,
HBO was
right?
also ahead on their they were doing productions where maybe Cinemax wasn't doing as many, or Showtime, or any of the other people that were competing at that time, and it might have just been HBO at that point, I'm trying to remember, but they had
I don't know when the other channels came in,
right,
but HBO was the king.
but they had yes, they were, and they had movie projects that they did that released in theaters, they also had
Mm,
shows that they were developing in the 1980s, so they were very much ahead of the things, and I just kinda thought that if it had HBO Pictures or HBO Production or Home Box Office Presents, that it
mm,
was something that we could, talk about and maybe pick our top 5 favorite things, that came from HBO.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, but kinda was, yeah, and I think we have some of each other's,
yeah, yeah,
which is interesting, but yeah,
and we
I
could have
mean, it
made this
was
10. 15. Hell, we could probably do this again and do another 5.
God, we can, but it's not, the list isn't as big as I thought it was, because what we're functioning in a range that's kind of that 78 to 92.
Yep.
I think we're not, you know, we're not talking about The Sopranos,
No,
right?
no,
We're talking about,
no, we
you know,
it's
pre,
that's adults
yeah,
talking about it, right?
yeah. This is kind of what was around until you graduated high
Yeah,
school, right? This is kind of, that seems to be kind of the range for us, right? So, um, uh, so some of my stuff creeps into the very early 90s. It may have started in the late 80s,
good.
but then it goes into the early 90s, maybe surpasses 92, but definitely the sweet spot of that stuff. So I thought it was a great idea. I mean, I don't, TV shaped my sense of humor, everything, you know,
Yeah,
everything. So, uh, yeah, so we kind of divvied up a list, went with, you know, who, who gravitated towards what, but knowing we both had good stuff. Mine's, I mean, I'll start with Dream On.
okay.
Uh, uh, I will say, just to reset a little bit, the thing that people have to understand, and HBO is still this, but there was 3 channels on TV that had television shows, right? The ABC, NBC, CBS, right?
Yep.
Then you've got PBS
Yeah, you didn't have
kind of
much.
playing around with British comedies,
Yeah.
and Bob Ross and whatever that shit was. So this was so HBO became the first channel, and there wasn't a ton of series in the time period we're talking about, but it was adult television. It was like R-rated TV
Yep.
shows, which was not even close to a thing.
No.
Like, it was not, there were no, you know,
A passion scene
we're,
on television was a kiss, and then we're waking up the next morning, right? You didn't have yeah,
no bad language, not
nothing.
even
Yeah,
asshole or shit could be, was said on network television. Not even kind of the lower tier bad words
yeah,
were said. No nudity,
right,
obviously, no sexual
no,
situations that were tense in any way. Um, So I mean, it was like you felt like a grown up watching some HBO
yeah,
shows, and it really kind of delivered on that. And those, some of those are on my list, is what I'm saying, and I think some of them are probably on yours. Uh, but yeah, that's kind of what HBO, and this is kind of going on in the background of my childhood, right?
right,
Is there's like this channel that has this kind of different way to program. Um, Still appointment television. We're not streaming. It's, this stuff is coming on at a time.
you're right,
Uh,
right.
you
You had to
can't,
be
if
there
you
for it.
miss time,
Yeah,
huh?
you had to be there for it.
Yeah, you had to be there for it. Now, it would be, if it was one of their shows, it would be in high rotation. You didn't have to catch it only. It wasn't like a CBS where if you didn't catch it at 5 o'clock or 7 o'clock on Friday night, you just weren't gonna, you were gonna have to wait till the summer and see it in
Yeah,
reruns, right?
yeah,
That was for network television. This would get kicked around, like you could keep
yeah.
watching it.
The beauty of
Uh,
cable.
but not, you would just have to come across it again. I mean, I think there was a guide where you could kind of go, when is this coming back? Like, you could kind of search day
Yeah,
by hour,
that
maybe at the time,
they had TV
maybe,
Guide. I think it was in TV Guide. You could go to the HBO schedule maybe in a TV Guide.
maybe,
It's still pumping them
maybe,
out, right?
maybe. So my first one is Dream On, which is one of the first real series, um, that HBO does. It's not the first one,
Right.
but it's the first series. It's one of the first series that they do, and it was, uh, to me, groundbreaking as a kid, because it was, this, what is he's,
He's a book writer,
a
book
book
editor.
editor.
Yeah.
He's a book editor, um, in, I don't even know, I'm guessing New York,
Yeah, a big city.
I don't know.
A big city, right?
Huh?
It's a big city.
It's a big
Yep.
city. It's the big city. And it's, Tupper is his name, I think,
Martin
right?
Tupper.
Martin Tupper.
Yep.
Um,
Brian Benben
and
plays him,
yeah,
which
yeah,
which we
yeah.
never really see Brian Benben again, right? He just
Not
yeah,
much. He does show up on some series if you look him up, but they're not series I watch. So he totally kind of disappears. But he is like the poster child for divorced dad. Like, all this stuff is very in the air. Divorce is huge, and it hadn't been for the previous generation. So it's a show about a divorced dad with a son. um, and it's hypersexualized. He's constantly dating. Um, there's a parade of, I mean, it's kind of almost rated R Seinfeld, right?
Very
It's
much.
almost like, you know what I mean? Like where Jerry kind of always is some beautiful model that ends up being famous later on. All those women came through this show, and celebrities. It was on for, uh, I don't know, 5 or 6 years.
Yeah,
Um,
that dude was scoring.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, those were
yeah,
beautiful women, and he looked like just a regular
beautiful
dude.
women. Yeah, but he had nudity
Yeah.
and bad like just any, I mean, it was just something different, man, and I don't it's very difficult to watch. The Roku channel has it right now. I mean, you can get it through Roku, so you can kinda track it down. Um, it was kinda brown great breaking. It sounds like, so this is a John Landis produced
Yes.
television show, right?
Yes.
So Animal House, John Landis,
Yeah.
right? The great John Landis.
American Werewolf.
Remember,
It's amazing
absolutely.
you can put those 2 movies.
Thriller
Yeah,
Video.
you put those 2 movies together side by side, it's the same dude kind
Yeah.
of involved, right? Thriller
Yeah,
Video.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, a powerhouse,
legit.
and I think it was, uh, he wanted to do something with, I believe it was Universal's catalog of old films, and he was like, "Hey, can I use the old Universal catalog?" Which wasn't airing anywhere. There's no TCM, or if there is, it's not much of a channel
Yeah.
at that point, and, they were like, "Yeah," so then he hands it off to these 2 uh, show creator writers, and they take the Universal clips and basically weave them into every episode where, in a really cool way, because the premise is he's a kid who grew up in front of television, the and like all his and while his sister is making out behind him on the couch, so he ties television to sexuality, and like it's this kind of complicated thing where, um, he just old movie clips flash in to explain his thought or say something,
I feel like
tongue in
that's
cheek
me all the time.
all the time,
All
all
the
the time,
time. I mean, it
all the
relates to
time.
me so good because I came from a divorced, you know, family. My parents divorced when I was around 9 or 10.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
raised in front of the television. This show hits so home for me in so many aspects. And, you know, now that we're talking about it again, and we're sitting here, every my you can ask my wife. My whole life is just taking real life situations and dropping a movie quote somewhere. Or
yeah. It is. I know you. Like it's literally how people talk now and
right.
and think of things. His references are 50s black and white. My Three
Yes.
Sons and Leave It to Beaver references. Ours are, movies that we grew up on, TV shows.
I did
You
think
know,
that real quick. I did think that it was interesting. Also the other dynamic that came up to me was, um, you know, he came up that way, we come up that way. How much difference was there between the 1950s and 60s and the 1970s and 80s? I would say a lot less difference than from the 1980s to right now. Like, you know, we were
you would
all.
say the difference was less from 80 to now than it was from 50s. Yeah, I would
Yeah,
agree
yeah.
for sure.
Less
For sure.
from the 1950s to the 1980s. We are able to experience the same things. His life and everything he does is referring back to how a movie went in his head, and even we
Yeah.
do that. It just there's not a lot of difference in those times. I mean, there
No.
is, but there
It's
isn't.
really well done.
Yeah,
And it
very much
and
so.
actually the pacing of the show moves because it's cutting these clips in anytime he has a thought,
Yes,
and it may be a black and white TV show of an oil derrick blowing when he's having sex. You know what I mean? Like it could be it's just very, very well
it is.
done in a fun way. They don't they lean into it. I mean, there's a lot of those clips in those episodes. Um
And genius
uh
level people operating on that show for sure.
because they go to do Friends
Yeah,
next?
they do Friends, and I mean, they do this, and then the next thing they bring is Friends, and we all know how that ended up. You had every actor in Friends became pretty damn famous. The show, man, people still talk about that show. My wife still
Yeah.
talks about that show. You know, some of them have passed now, which is unfortunate, but it's, it's a legendary show. I'm not even a huge Friends watcher, if I'm being honest.
No, I don't,
It's not
it's
really
not,
my cup, but I understand
no,
the power of that show and
no.
and, you know,
Those wouldn't have been my friends.
yeah.
So
My friends go much
I
harder
was
in the
hanging
paint.
out with a different, yeah, I was hanging out with a different group that
Matthew Perry
probably would have.
Matthew Perry might have been my damn friend.
Mhm, mhm. For sure, for
I hate
sure,
to say it
for
like
sure.
that, but yeah,
No, no.
he might have been my friend.
Yeah, but, I mean, I just think that there's not a crazy amount of trivia on this for being such a big deal on HBO, but I mean, like, Stallone does a guest appearance. Like, this was also culturally
Cat
huge.
cat
Yeah,
yeah,
significant Hollywood people were coming through this show once it kinda caught
yeah.
on, and making appearances. What I read was Landis was like, um, he really dug in on, like, was not gonna back off of nudity.
He didn't either.
Which I think in that time period, it's almost a way of going, I'm gonna make you make this R, HBO. Like, I'm not letting you PG-13 my R show. Right? Because it wasn't that it leaned into, like, profanity. The guy's a dad. Like, it wasn't like a bunch of tirades with a bunch of,
It was single dad.
profanity and
Yeah, it was
yeah,
single
it was single depth. So the R was the
yeah,
sex.
and he was
The R wasn't, it was not violent. Like, this is just an editor who's recently divorced trying to get laid
yeah,
constantly.
he's having
Uh,
a lot of sex, and,
yeah.
in a time where, safe sex was being highly pushed because of
Yeah, yeah,
you know, the
yeah. AIDS,
the
yeah,
AIDS thing,
yeah.
and I mean, yeah, so the
The beautiful Wendy Malick is his
oh,
ex-wife,
yeah, man, and there's
you
still
know?
spark there a little bit, but it there's also
Yeah, tough to
disdain,
find.
yeah, yeah, disdain and, maybe a little
Oh, yeah.
hatred, maybe a little depending on the moment.
Just very adult, just
Very.
a very adult. I don't know why I was watching it at 17 or 16.
Because there was naked women,
Well, because there was
and
nudity on it, yeah, for
they were
sure.
hot, so
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're exactly right.
we knew
And
we
it
knew
was
what team we were
funny.
playing for, right? Like,
Yeah, and it was funny, right?
oh,
So, wha
hilarious, hilarious.
so one of the trivia items on, the lead actor, which is, what did you say his name
Brian
was?
Benben,
Yeah, yeah, Brian Ben, but you and I were like, "Hey, where's he been?" I found out, I looked it up, and it was like, one of the trivia things is like, "Hey, it's got a ranch outside of Fredericksburg,
that's awesome.
a working horse ranch or cattle ranch outside, here in Texas." And then I just kept going, "That is so random."
Yep.
Like, he's not from this part of the country. When you look up any trivia about him, I'm like, none of this makes sense. You know who his wife is? Madeline Stowe.
Get the fuck out of here. Are you kidding me?
No, no, married to Madeline Stowe,
Well, good for you,
who,
buddy.
yeah, who I believe is a Texan. And I had a buddy of mine who was quarterback for Abilene Christian, Cody, and he waited on Madeline Stowe at the Chili's in Abilene. I think she has been into horses and ranching her whole life.
Probably so.
It's one of his claim to fames from 30 years ago. He got to wait on Madeline Stowe for like a to-go orders at a Chili's in Abilene. But then I was like, okay, he's in Texas because of her. But how cool they have kids together. Like,
Awesome.
what a
You're
badass.
right. Dude, he is a badass. Get some, bro.
Yeah.
That's
When I
awesome.
told Aunt Michael last night, I was like, he's married to Madeline Stone. She was like, wow.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
Last of the Mohicans,
yeah, man.
Madeline Stowe.
She's something, dude. Like, good for
Yeah,
you. Like,
yeah,
I'll say, one of the things going back to the Friends deal is, I think you saw maybe a couple of cast members that ended up on Friends in this show. Like, I know Courtney Cox was on Dream
yeah,
On.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
they definitely, I think when they might have been in the creative process of Friends as this was kind of winding down. I can't timeline that, but I mean, you think about when Friends came out and this started to kind of nod off.
You could put that up in post and go,
Yeah.
hey, boop, boop.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely, I mean, they move from one to the other. I mean, I think a solid writing team that gets very busy, right? And if you get a hit, you're going to keep going. And um, I mean, that's
Well, Friends was such a
one of those on your resume is a career built like you're done.
absolutely. You
You know
might
what I mean?
you might be set, especially with
Yeah,
Friends. Like,
I just think it's unfortunate because there's so much of the HBO catalog stuff. Like, I don't know if you went to look at this, but it's not on HBO anymore.
no, it's
It's
not.
it's moved because everything's been bought and sold. And I think one of the issues with Dream On, why you can't find it, which is a really kind of a shame. I mean, you could find it, but it's very limited. It's like because the movie clips were cut in, they were old Universal clips. It's then who becomes the parent company over Universal,
Right.
but who owns HBO? So now you have this conflict between it's an HBO series, it's Universal's movies cut through it, they're both owned by different entities now. So there's like these crossover rights that I think have kind of locked it up at times because it's just it's too good a series not to kind of still be able to jump in and get it. Especially on HBO. That was kind of heartbreaking with some of the stuff is that we went and looked at because they were HBO original series that you cannot get on HBO anymore.
Yeah.
Like and you kind of go, how is this not how can I not watch the Fraggles, on, the channel that originated like, it's just really strange, man. It's really kind of sad that, stuff I associate so much with that name, HBO, home box office, right? The opening, scene from Dream On is the HBO, yeah,
Right.
the
HBO
the
original programming font.
the fuzzy
Yep.
TV, right?
Yep.
But this show was so significant that that's still HBO's calling card when they represent. Although they may have killed that, but
I'll put
it
it up.
was it was how you announced an HBO presentation was from the opening of this show of theirs. So that kind of tells you how well thought of it was and how important it was that they led that off as, how you identify an HBO
Yeah. Do
program
you?
for all other programs after that.
Yeah.
Definitely up to The Sopranos.
HBO was so into how they did their kind of their intros and outros and stuff. They put a lot of
Yeah.
thought into that, but HBO's attention to detail on everything and the people that were working on HBO back then, to your point with this show, it's a shame that you can't find this a little bit easier because it is quality.
The clips I watched of it kind of held up.
Yeah,
So there's other stuff on that doesn't, that are series from a long time ago that you go, okay, if, how is this not on? Because I just can't overstate in those 5 years, this was a big show.
absolutely.
Uh, so yeah, anyway, so I mean that's kind of my take on Dream On. That is one of the ones I don't, again, David Bowie was on Dream On.
Yeah,
Selma Hayek came on Dream On. Tom Berenger, Stallone. Like
yeah,
this is not a, this is a big deal.
yeah,
So anyway, you can cut that up however you want to
yeah,
cut that up. I would say okay. So then I had to. So we each get five, right?
yeah.
These are not by order of what I
Oh,
think
no,
they
yeah,
are. These are by the order of how I wrote them down and how I took notes on them. So I did. I love stand-up comedy. It's very convenient that HBO kind of was known for that, right? So HBO is absolutely your comedy resource in that first comedy boom of my
yep,
generation, which happened in this time period we're talking about, which is this kind of mid to late 80s through the maybe to 1995, right? There's this huge comedy boom. Comedy clubs become a big deal. We would sneak into them as kids. So HBO kind of made its bones on where you go for comedy because there really wasn't a place to do it. You weren't going to watch George Carlin on NBC. If you were, he was going to get 3 minutes on the couch of a talk show host. Like you're not. You have to buy an album. uh Maybe you could rent some of their concerts at video stores, but HBO kind of showed up and were like, we're going to produce them, we'll buy them if you make one, but we're going to release comedy. So they became really known for that. A lot of stuff on our list is comedy related. Carlin is on the kind of Mount Rushmore when you listen to comedians talk about comedians. They're always going to give you the Pryors first, Carlin second, fill in the other two with whoever their big influences are. Could be a Cosby, could be a whatever, could be Seinfeld, whatever. Um, uh, so I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go into the Carlin stuff because the Carlin stuff was a big deal. HBO and George Carlin were synonymous. I think he probably has the most HBO specials,
Still,
or hours still.
yeah.
Um, he was really well known for it. So they were kind of always a partnership. So I picked Jammin' in New York, which is filmed in the Paramount Theater in Madison Square Garden. He's from New York. This is like a home show for him. And it came out in 92, and it was really significant because this is his turn into like darker humor, less goofy observations about why do you always miss one sock?
Yeah.
Where does that extra sock go? And
He goes
what your dog,
he goes on the
huh?
attack.
He goes on the attack, and that's the first time he really goes all in that way. He always had he started, I would say he had started to get a little bit of an edge, and there was a little bit of social commentary, but he opens going after the war that was going on at the time, which I'm guessing is,
Gulf War.
Gulf War, right? So he, it's, and he was counterculture, so it's not odd to hear him going after anything, but there is a real darkness. He peppers in some real light stuff and it does some of those weird observations, and there's some funnier, lighter stuff, but like two or three of the bits are just absolutely
Savage.
brutal.
Yeah.
And the last one is almost uncomfortable.
The planet
Did you watch the whole
the
thing?
planet.
Yeah, just
Dude,
like
I
I like
remember it.
watching the capture. I want to see people, on fire running from buildings.
Yeah.
Like, then this is pre 9/11,
Yeah.
and he's saying this in New York, and he's just he ends with like, he loves to be a spectator of the madness that our society's already broken. There's no getting back. The earth doesn't give a fuck who we are. We are a millionth of its history just in our existence,
The planet
and
is
we'll be,
fine, the people are fucked.
yeah, the planet is fine. It's the people that are fucked. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, which is, and at the time, it was really funny to me as a young guy. It watches darker now. Like, it
Ooh,
is
yeah.
fucking
I've
dark.
seen
He goes,
clips and it just
oh,
yeah, he I was like, "God dang, man, I didn't think." I guess everything that's happened, now that you watch it, is just like, "Shit, dude,
oh
he
yeah,
is on the money, man. He is."
he is on the money, and he's just like, yeah, give me more car crashes. I watch car crashes to see who's going to die. And I don't like, he's just like this dark, which he kind of positioned himself at the end of his comedy career as like the dark observer. He's like, I don't vote, which means I get to complain. Like, he was just very, he, like, there's a great documentary on him where he talks about he almost feels like he's watching what happens on earth. Like, he's not a participant. He thinks all of the things he grew up with in the 50s and 60s had melted away.
Yeah.
Like, all the kind of how people treated each other, and there's
I think
not
every
from this special, but the where he's on that panel where Carlin's talking about, there's three oil companies, there's two media companies. He was like, but you can get 21 different versions of a bagel because you have the illusion of choice, but you have no choice. The choice has been made for you. You just don't know it. You're buying into the distraction. Like, he was really
he's in it.
kind of ahead of his time,
Absolutely.
not liberal or Democrat,
No,
like anti-war, but making like, he was just kind of anyone who came with any inauthenticity, he
he just
went after,
yeah,
right? Like,
absolutely.
what, which is, I think, how you and I are, and I think probably most people are. It doesn't seem like it these days, but it was very, no one was immune. If you were a hypocrite, he was going to call you out. It didn't matter, what part of it was. He was going to go against, definitely hammer religion. He always had an issue with
Always.
religion, grew up Catholic school. Like, he always, at a certain point, started to point out that stuff. But I would say this with Carlin in particular, great special. Watch it. It's phenomenal. It, a lot of his stuff does not age well. Some of the goofier stuff doesn't age well. The expressions and the sound effects and some of his goofy faces were pretty groundbreaking for the time, or they were very like engaging.
Yeah.
It doesn't play as well. And so I started to think like, well, why do people like if when you go back and rewatch it, it is not all the best. How is he on Rushmore? Right. Like so every comedian is like he's the guy, but there are big pieces of some of his shows where it's just not funny or doesn't hold up or maybe was kind of okay then. And w- I think the thing is honestly why he's on everybody's is because of his transformation,
Yep.
because of his adaptability and how prolific he was,
Yep.
right? So he starts out in black and white suit and tie, very straight edge
Richard
comedy,
did the same
right?
thing, right? Like,
Richard did the same
yep.
thing. Many of these guys, if you go back far enough, it's very straight, American bandstand kind of humor, a comedian who gets 4 minutes in black and white. You're in a suit, you're in a tie,
Ed Sullivan.
very
Yeah.
yeah, Ed Sullivan,
Mm,
very
yeah.
traditional comedy, Steve Allen show, very, very traditional comedy stuff. And I think the thing that he was maybe one of the first guys is he wasn't Buddy Hackett. Buddy Hackett was Buddy Hackett the whole time. He's not Don Rickles. Don Rickles had an act. He did that act for 80 fucking
And it was
years,
amazing.
right? And it was amazing. Carlin evolved. And I think that's one of the things with why the legendary comics kind of all point to him is because he kept changing.
Yep.
He does drugs and then he becomes a hippie, right? And then he's doing stuff in the round and he's got long hair. He's got a kind of a legendary cocaine problem,
He's
by the way.
super intelligent.
Super intelligent, and kind of keeps evolving his whole career, and also at a time where you could go 10 years on 1 hour of comedy
Yeah.
because you weren't going to see him on TV much. You might see him on HBO, but a guy who had an hour show, he just did that hour for 10 years. Like it worked. He knew every joke. He could get on a stage in anywhere USA, do his
There
hour.
was no
Carl,
YouTube, so you couldn't.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So they would never burn the material, right? Like if it was good, and every time you're in front of people, they're seeing it for the first time, uh what does it matter? Like what does it
Yeah.
matter? You don't, your material can last, and that was a very kind of old school traditional way to do it. You built your hour, and then Carlin comes along prior to, for sure, and some other guys that go, I'm going to do an hour, I'm going to throw it all away, I'm never doing those jokes again. And Carlin would come out every year or 2 years with another hour he would have built on the road to do for the HBO special. So I think his how prolific he was jarring. Now we kind of expect that
Yep.
out of a lot of comics to have like new stuff every couple of years. This was not the case. So I think he's on Mount Rushmore for his evolution, which there's like 6 or 7 or four versions of Carlin, right? But that's still big. He's like four different Carlins
Right.
over the years. So evolution and body work. They're
Yeah.
just like, wow. Like I
One of
think
the.
I think that's what's intimidating to other comics, where it's like,
Yeah.
shit, man.
Yeah.
Like, and he made the HBO special the pinnacle of comedy.
Absolutely. This was
Like,
one of the bigger crowds that he had performed in front of at that
yes,
time. I think it was like 6,500 people. And
6,500
yep.
people.
And
Yep.
it's
2 shows, April of
yeah.
1992.
If you
Boom,
listen
boom,
to the
boom.
recorded version, you're getting, I think you're getting a different version than the
Yeah.
HBO stand-up special, and I
Saw that
mean,
with Bill Cosby,
yeah,
right? Saw that with himself.
yeah,
Yep.
and HBO, um, really hand in hand with George Carlin, to your point, built the HBO comedy special, Comedy Hour, like,
Yeah.
with you needed someone of that magnitude with that kind of, ability to kinda you weren't gonna get Richard Pryor to do that because I think Richard was just
It's
too
just one of the best partnerships, HBO and George
agreed.
Carlin. I mean, they were synonymous. Like, if Carlin had a special, it's coming out on HBO. Like,
Yes.
they're producing
It's
all his
HBO and
specials.
Netflix right now.
What's that?
It's Dave Chappelle and Netflix right now.
It is,
Yeah,
and this is his 8th Jammin' in New York. This is his
8.
8th HBO special, 14th special, 8th HBO special. Um, so it's just really cool. I mean, it was clearly a good partnership. They let him do whatever he wanted. I will say, in researching a lot of the comedy, because we have comedy on our lists, HBO was like, the goal was uncensored comedy. Like, that's kind of their mission statement for everything we'll talk about on this list
Yeah,
was
we're giving
HBO wanted a place where they were like, "You do you. We're not gonna tell you how to do it. We want comedy to be raw, and we want," and it was,
yeah,
it doesn't, most of it doesn't hold up because a lot of it's topical, but shit, man. I mean, I just think it's cool, and they weren't handing out HBO specials. It's not like Carlin always. It's not Netflix.
no.
It's not where there's a comedy special every 2 weeks. Maybe two specials a year
Yep,
for HBO. So it's super
the
rarefied
big
air
names.
for HBO to give you an hour.
Yeah. I mean, if you wanted to be on HBO as a comic back in the 1980s, and we'll cover it on my list, you had to get on a big comics, uh, kind of comedy
Showcase,
showcase,
showcase.
right? Where you were, "I'm gonna be on HBO. I'm gonna be at, Rodney Dangerfield's, or I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna be,"
Yeah,
but you had to be showcased if you back then. If you got your own special, you were the elite of the time.
yeah. That's a great way to put it
Yeah,
because you're definitely, even on the hour and the comedy half hour, and they do all this versions of different forms of comedy, which is amazing when you look at the list of the people that got HBO stuff. But your showcase, then your comedy half hour, then your comedy hour. But this is, the majors are what we're talking about. Carlin got to do,
yeah,
and it's a pretty big drop off
yeah.
when you get to the showcases and even the
Half
half
hour
hours.
comedy hour, a half hour
That's
comedy.
not
Yeah,
that's not you're not that meant nothing. I mean, yes, it got you exposure, but you had not made it because you made any of the other series that we'll talk about on the
yeah.
list. Like, this was the one. Um, so yeah, it's yeah, really cool. So it was fun to go back and look at that. The special was very good. It felt very dated. There's some big slow spots when he's not just full out attacking, but when he's attacking, it's uh it's the best he did. It's his favorite special.
Yeah,
So
he said that. I'd read that he had said this was my, and he said this was the one that he just, he knew he was doing something different. It was groundbreaking. He was taking more chances and saying more
yeah,
things that he knew were gonna probably kind of hurt he's gonna hurt some feelings, man.
yeah,
And he
he
knew
was
it.
not scared,
He
man.
wasn't.
No, no,
Yeah.
no, not at all. And as you and I talked about before, it opens with dedicated to Sam. Sam Kinison, his buddy, dies,
Yeah,
and really
he just passed
here
away. Yeah.
2 weeks before he films, right? So this is, you know, the comedy world has been rocked.
With that loss, yes.
Yeah. And Carlin is California sober at this point in his career, but big, big time battles with cocaine,
Yeah,
like legendary, go off, rent a hotel room away from his wife and kids and daughter, and just get mind fucked on coke
yeah.
and just, writing letters to her. There's a really good documentary on him where you just kind of go, wow, the cocaine abuse was on a wild level,
Yeah,
like a really, and his wife's an alcoholic, and it is chaos. His daughter did a documentary about kind of growing up, and it was very sweet. Like, he's a great guy, but he was
he had some
absolutely
demons.
battling.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, and goes to rehab, by the way, again in 2004. So never really, uh,
quite stripped the bag.
lifelong battle,
No,
right? You're in your 50s and 60s, and you're in your 60s and 70s. Maybe I don't know how old he would have been in 2004, but you're, and you have a Vicodin and alcohol addiction, right? So, so anyway, kind of a legendary guy, but that, second on my list. Um, Flip the page. because we gave ourselves time, I have notes. I'm not using a ton of them because we're covering most of it,
Yeah,
but it felt good to do the research on
absolutely.
these, by the way. I felt like we had a little more
Yep.
time just because, anyway, I don't know.
I agree. I definitely had to brush up on some of mine for sure.
Yeah. Um, Fraggle Rock, which I referenced earlier, is the other one I drew of the five. I will say, I didn't have when this came out, I didn't have cable, so this would be like a treat at someone else's house that I spent the night at who had cable. Uh, the Jim Henson series Fraggle Rock, which it's these, I don't know, it's like three worlds kind of rolled into one. The Fraggles live underground. They have the Dozers who make structures that they eat out of turnip candy. And then there's outer space, which is the real world, which is where like humans walk around. And then there's this other world where these big kind of monster kind of
Gorg.
creatures,
Yeah.
yeah, where uh where they kind of live. I mean, that's what Fraggle Rock is. It's all puppets. It's Jim Henson. It's amazing, but it was kind of a treat if I got to see it at someone else's house, right?
Yeah. I think Jim Henson's kind of message there was something that I read that I thought was interesting is the show's main point was to show you that there are multiple you said like worlds are kind of societies, right?
Yeah,
And they are absolutely reliant on each other um to kind of survive really. They're symbiotic. They need each other. It's a societal ecosystem of
yeah,
we need each other to get along. Yet I don't believe some of the factions like each other too much, obviously. But the message was is that we need each other, and um,
yeah. The societies that don't even understand each other are interconnected,
yeah,
whether they know it or not,
correct.
and decisions they make can
Interconnect.
impact the other
Yep.
societies, right?
Yep.
Where it's like you don't even know them, and kind of the demonization of them because none of them are really bad.
Right.
uh so it was almost kind of like because we don't understand them, they're bad. So it was kind of, yeah, something I read was like it was about world peace was kind of his vibe. And this sounds like the sweetest dude on the
Jim
planet. I mean, I
Henson
think
had to be kind of a soft hippie, man. You know what I mean? Yeah, like
first, dude, yes, yes. I mean, he is, Jim Henson is what, Sesame Street, the Muppets,
yeah.
uh Fraggle Rock. It also, in reading about it, looked like it was he wanted to follow the kids outside of Sesame Street. So he wanted everyone who he had gotten with Sesame Street to have another place to go to keep learning and keep, like, he
Teaching
could
life
promote his message
lessons,
to be,
right. Yeah.
yeah, he's kind of like, and it's interesting because it's a little like he's following you and I through our childhood, always making sure that there's some puppets in front of us teaching us something. So, which is really kind of bizarre. But if you think about our childhood, pup, there was puppets and Muppets around constantly, just kind of checking in with us and going, "Hey," and they always had like this really peaceful message, and it was always, funny but cool. And it's like Henson followed our age group
Yeah.
and just kept giving us different stuff throughout, his puppeteering
And
life, which
if
is
the
fucking
one thing he
crazy.
gave us that was just the gold standard, him and Frank Oz gave us Yoda. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean,
yeah,
it's just, does he do Dark Crystal?
Jim Henson is Dark Crystal.
Right? So like he's everywhere in RH. Like he keeps showing up with different puppets and heavier themes that you're ready for. It was just like this show was hugely musically motivated. It is not supposed to be psychedelic. This is super psychedelic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like if you want to, you know, if you want to have some willies, social time, uh a- and watch the Fraggles, that's not a combination that I would shy away from,
Fucking A, man.
you know?
Is that Freedom
So
Rock, man?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Well, what a reference. If you could run a Freedom Rock commercial over this part of the video, that would be awesome. Freedom Rock, and I got a lot of Boxcar Willie's greatest hits
Nice.
later. That would be another one. But it was cool. I love this. I could put this on while I'm messing around on my phone in the background. It's just this little hippy dippy puppet world. Um,
The voices are
and they're,
soft. The
huh?
voices of the Fraggles are very
Oh,
happy and kind of carefree
very
and
happy.
soft when they're
Yeah.
talking. I
Yeah.
every time the king says, "Junior,"
Yeah.
I just go straight to Buford T. Justice. I mean, and even back then it was just like
Yeah.
Junior, Ju.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just like,
Oh, yeah.
like
That's perfect. You're exactly right. I mean, it's fun. I mean, I don't, you could show your kids it now. It for sure holds up. I mean, there's
absolutely.
nobody, I mean, he is, I don't think there's anything he did that you can't go timeless. It's puppets.
Yeah, my
Like,
grandkids would enjoy that show.
yeah. And I don't know if it's because my age. Give me puppets over cartoons.
Thank you.
Like, like, you're welcome.
Dude, I fucking hate cartoons right now. They're awful.
Right?
Where are the days of, like, He-Man and
Right.
Transformers and
Right.
Saturday morning
Yeah.
cartoons? It's gone. Like, I
Yeah. 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 I just, and I'm telling, yeah, excluding Saturday morning cartoons. So if you'll just take that because they meant so much to me
right,
out, Muppets over cartoons in general.
absolutely.
If you cut those out, like I'm not watching the Batman cartoon, and I hear it's amazing, but I'll watch some Muppets.
Take me to the
I
Great
will.
Muppet Caper at the movie theater, I am in, and then take me to
Yeah,
Pizza Hut to get my matching glasses
yeah,
afterwards, my Muppet
yeah,
glasses.
for sure.
Yeah.
I probably aged out. I don't think I took Manhattan with the Muppets. I was probably off the train by then,
Oh, no,
but
I wasn't, I still went.
oh, you were still.
Well, I mean, hell, I would go with kids that were younger than me still, and we'd go to the movies in the summertime or
Yeah.
whatever, and I mean, you gotta remember Matt was 7.
Oh, that's
You know
right.
what I mean?
Oh, so yeah, 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 yeah.
So,
Oh, that's a good point.
yeah.
So who's your favorite Muppet?
Man, I was always kind of a Gonzo guy.
Gonzo's amazing. Gonzo's amazing. That's a really good one. I
He was
would
into
say
chickens, man. He loved him some chicken.
was um I loved Animal.
Yep, he was always a
Um
favorite.
Gonzo was kind of the star. Gonzo was in everything. I will like Kermit is no doubt, but
D-Man.
Gonzo's
Yeah,
really Gonzo's
he's fun.
he's fun. He's the
"Shoot me
he's
out of a
probably
cannon, do" yeah.
yeah, he's probably number one in in that regard, for sure. I do as I get older, I really like Fozzie Bear.
Yeah, he feels like
He's kind of a nothing. Nothing's ever happening. He's almost like the Hamburglar or Wimpy from
yeah,
Popeye.
Fozzie Bear is the dude that does the uncomfortable clap at the wrong time.
For sure, for sure, for sure. The Swedish Chef was always good,
Yep,
but
yeah.
if I'm
Doctor
getting
Teeth,
a Muppet, if I'm getting a Muppet tattoo, it's Fozzie.
yeah. Doctor Teeth, right? Like, in the electric
Yeah, oh yeah,
yeah,
oh yeah,
yeah, just that whole
yeah.
very creative, very
Very creepy.
and the Fraggles were very creative. The pro
Yeah,
that production set and everything that they put into that to kinda make that work, and I know it's all camera and, you know, I
but cutting
brilliant,
edge at the time.
brilliant.
Cutting edge at the time doesn't look weird to me even now. A lot of green screen, but this is like massive. There's dozens of people controlling puppets on these sets.
Yeah.
Like this is puppetry in a wild way. This is HBO's first series. This is the first series
HBO
HBO
ever
ever
did.
produced, ever did.
And,
This is the
I'm gonna
first thing.
I'm gonna throw another great one out there that I still watch to this day almost every year around Christmas, and that's the Emmett Otter's Christmas with, the, the Nightmare Band. The Have you seen that?
Mm-mm.
Look it up, Emmett Otter's Christmas. It's a Jim Henson production, and
Really?
yeah, and it was a Christmas special about this otter, that that I think needed to win some money. So him and his bands put him and his other animal friends that are animals, I think they're otters too, put together a band to enter a talent show,
Mhm.
and they they go up against this rock and roll Muppet band that was so gnarly, dude. They played this badass song at the end. When you're 8, you're like, "Fuck
Oh, hey,
yes, man." And
I don't
the name of the band that ended up winning it, the badass band, was called the River Bottom Nightmare Band. And dude, it was so badass, dude. It was so badass.
you watch it every year for
Every
Christmas?
year, just about every
That's
year.
cool. That's cool.
Still,
That's a good I will watch it now to check it out.
yeah,
I think
it's
that's
worth
cool.
it.
We'll probably do a Christmas show this year, so
Maybe
we
that's
could
something we could do.
probably we could probably do like, comfort what do you watch at Christmas time? Like,
Yeah,
what makes you feel,
yeah.
what's all the Christmas feelings? Yeah, that's very cool.
I'll put
But yeah,
a
I don't
I'll put a poster up for that because it's really cool.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. And I mean, I don't have any other thing other to say. There's nothing controversial about the Fraggles. It's literally like the people that went on were puppeteers. It's not like famous people were, playing these Fraggles or writing these stories. I mean, it's very much like the Jim Henson crew. So you don't get, I mean, you get him and his people everywhere, but none of them are stars. It's just all his
well,
vision,
Frank
right?
Frank
Like
Oz kinda became one, but not at that time. I think he
Frank Oz for sure became
yeah,
one. Again, John Landis was close to
yeah.
him. So Landis kind of comes back on my list there, where like he had a close relationship with Henson, and there was some crossover thing they did Muppet related. So yeah, he's definitely a creative force working with lots of creative people. I mean, you can't. I mean, you can't. Frank Oz, that's undeniable.
Yeah.
Um, uh, so yeah, I was listening to some writer talk, and Landis looked at him, and he had been with Henson for a long time, and he was like, "If you do not leave Henson, you will never leave Henson."
Right.
Like,
You
if
gotta
you
be
want to,
free.
if yeah, you gotta, you know,
Spread your wings.
like you gotta go out on your own.
Yeah.
And but but again, these are just all background people. There's nothing. Uh, what's unfortunate that I did read about Henson because he died. I forget which year, but
80,
maybe a
I wanna
decade,
say 90, 91. He's been gone a
maybe
long time now.
I guess longer than I
Yeah.
thought. Raised Christian Science, and they don't fuck with medicine,
Oh, man.
and got pneumonia and put off being treated because of that. Now, he wasn't practicing, but it was the school he grew up in. So I think he was kind of always known for trying to avoid medicine to heal yourself, where I am much more in the better living through chemistry
I
category
agree.
of I'm into the science of
I want to feel
uh,
better.
I want to feel better quickly. Um, yeah, give me that thing
Yeah.
that does that. Like, I am a wimp and I don't want to be sick, but it did suggest when you read about him, and nobody really knows that people feel like his kind of belief system prevented him from, he died of pneumonia. Like, it's not. This was a very, 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 very preventable death, which is probably the saddest part about it.
Yep.
It wasn't. He didn't die of pneumonia because he had HIV,
Right.
right? It's like, which that kind of became the like pneumonia. Um, we associated it with that because that's how a lot of, when people would pass away from HIV, it would be pneumonia that killed them.
Yep.
So that would be their cause of death. So anytime that kind of came up in the zeitgeist where it's like, so and so died of pneumonia, it's like,
Was it?
was it?
Yeah.
Like, so but sad, man,
Yeah.
because I think that dude was a real sweetheart of a guy.
Yeah.
Anything you read about him is just like Jim was just the
He cared about the
sweetest.
world, and he cared about the future of
Yeah,
the world.
yeah. Did acid one time, didn't affect him. Uh, like made a night to do it. Got with some really close friends. Was like, I'm gonna try LSD, right? Because he's in that hippie
Oh,
village
yeah, yeah, yeah.
movement. But was not really a drug user, but was like, I need to try this. It sounds like creatively, I need to do this. And one of his friends was like, turns out Jim was too creative for even LSD. Like, like,
Dude,
where
how do you
he just,
How do you
I don't
roll
know.
around like that all the time, right? Like
Yeah, they were just like LSD didn't have shit on what he had going on normally in his head, so he just like literally was like, "I guess it's not working." It goes home. Uh, Casual pot smoker, but not a regular pot smoker over the years, but you would expect that too.
Yep.
Uh, but yeah, but just seems to be just like the sweetest dude ever. So so yeah, so that's that one on my list. So this one's comedy one night stand. This was definitely one of those lower tier, probably mid tier comedy because I think you're gonna do more of the showcase,
Yep.
right? Which I would say was probably the bottom
Yes.
of that
Yeah.
on HBO. Um, this is where you're getting 5 minutes. This is people getting 30 minutes,
Right.
right?
Right.
So it was again comedy, HBO embracing like we're gonna be the home of comedy. Like we're gonna this is if
You're
you
owning the
want
slot.
comedy, you're going to HBO for it.
Yeah.
Um, which is brilliant because it doesn't from a production standpoint, it's the same thing that reality TV did. It's cheap to film,
Yeah.
right? It doesn't cost anything. You set up some cameras in a comedy club and you film it. It's not, there's no car chases, there's no
No.
special effects,
No. You
there's no, like,
very meat and potatoes.
it doesn't get cheaper. You're all in one room. You're never out of that room. There's not a different set you're going to. So, makes total sense from just like, yeah, we can make a shitload of this for what it would cost to make one episode of First and 10.
Yeah.
You could probably film the entire, one season of the HBO Comedy Hour for what one episode of First and 10
Yeah.
costs. So totally get it. And this is just another showcase for comedians that, come in and get kind of a junior level special. And it's just superstars. Like if you go read superstars might be an exaggeration, but you'll get Bill Burr,
Yeah.
you're like there's Bill Maher, like yeah,
Yeah.
they're all gonna get one, man. And it ran for years, late 80s to early 90s. So there's a pretty good
I think it
amount of
might have even
specials.
run longer than that, didn't it? Or was it just
I think they brought it back.
yeah.
I think its first run is about 4 years.
Okay.
And I think periodically they've gone, hey,
Let's do this again.
let's do this again. Again, probably very low production costs. It's not filmed in the same theater every time. They just go to where someone's filming. They just go to Chicago or whatever theater that these people are in, or maybe they set it up with them because the production value is more than just they would show up with. There's pretty elaborate set backgrounds still on some of them, uh, but I mean, it was just kind of a joy to watch back through. The thing I'd say about it is most of it is very dated. This is a
Yes.
super topical 80s, late 80s comedy was not great. I'm just like, other than the people that we really like, I don't think it holds up as well because I watched a lot of them. It kind of going, I remember these would come on at night, and you're hanging out. You're still, maybe you're at a party that weekend, but maybe you're just sitting on your couch at your parents' house. Like these just came on late at night. They were fantastic. Sometimes it would be somebody who was awful, but every once in a while you'd just be like, holy shit. Like, I've never even heard someone talk like this before. It was that different. And those are some of those people that I'm talking about that come in and you're just like, oh, wait a second. Like, yeah, there's this person and, Bobby, Bobby, whatever, like guys you'll never hear of again. There's
Right.
plenty of those in there. But man, peppered in are people very much at that time who were big at that time that only you and I or our generation would know, like, yeah, that guy was in some shit,
Yeah.
in some movies, show up in some things, and then kind of be gone. By the time it's the 90s, they're done, but they're in some of the comedies you see, and you're kind of like, well, that guy's kind of around. Dana Gould,
Yeah.
you know, where you're like, he's on Seinfeld, they're around. Uh, and then just some legends kind of swim through there every once in a while. And that the thing that was probably the funnest about it for me was seeing the Bill Hicks side.
Yeah.
Um, I looked at Rita Rudner, I looked at Jake Johansson, all people I liked at the time. Their jokes don't hold out. They're their people have already redone them so many times they're not original. It's not even that like Rita Rudner's not hysterical. It's just she did it first, but you've seen so many versions at this point of Rita Rudner that it doesn't she doesn't make
She's not as
sense to watch.
impressive. Yeah,
It's not as
yeah,
impressive. There were not pretty female comedians who were very put together in a very nice dress with perfect makeup and her hair. Like that wasn't the that wasn't who you saw. One, there were very few female comedians,
true.
but of them, she was really she's fairly household name. If you had cable, you knew who Rita Rudner was for sure.
Yeah, it was like
Uh,
her, Paula Poundstone, like
yeah, but
Marsha
very
Warfield.
different. Paula
Yeah,
Poundstone's dressing like a man,
right, right.
like
Not the
more like a
same.
literally a suit.
Yeah, a pantsuit.
Uh, right,
Yeah.
but not even a androgynous, right?
Yes, yes.
Not leaning in either direction. Rita Rudner's coming out very pretty.
Really.
You've got Elaine Boozler,
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I
right?
I
So
forgot about her, man. That she was raw, bro.
she was
She
raw,
was
and she was popular
Oh,
and
yeah.
around. Working female, very well respected,
Yeah,
bringing it right.
yeah.
Um, so there, I think one of the ones I watched was Susie Essman, who I only know from Curb Your Enthusiasm as Jeff Green's wife. I didn't know she was a stand-up. She's on there.
Yeah.
Uh, kind of doing that Jewish American princess, thing. So, but Bill Hicks, when I came across Bill Hicks and I had the kids in there, and Hicks is another guy for me who a lot of his material doesn't stand up. It's a little, it's super crass in a good way, but it doesn't, just some of it doesn't hold up that much anymore. It was shocking to me as a young kid. But it's just not, I don't know if people have copied it so much that it doesn't feel shocking. Some of it just feels kind of not my kind of humor anymore or whatever. But
When you saw it.
he's one of my favorites of all time.
When you saw
Like
it, right.
when I saw it, but rewatching this one because there's very little recorded Bill Hicks. He dies at about 32 years old of cancer, so he's got some late night appearances, and there's about 3 actual specials. There's like some footage that people drug up of the comedy clubs have been recording of him. It's some bad audio albums, but he really only has 3 sets. I believe, that aren't some kind of mashed together thing. And I think this one is in '92. It was a game changer for me when it came on my TV set at my parents' house. Because again, we'd be doing anything, talking on the phone, whatever, not paying attention. Like TV was kind of in the background. We didn't have phones to be fucking with, but um, I remember him coming on, smoking a cigarette on stage after making fun of like he comes out and he is a fucking bull. Like he is
Holding no punches, dude.
no
Yep.
punches, man. I mean, this is a guy.
Fearless.
This is yeah, fearless and angry. Yeah, comes out of Houston, Texas. I think lived in a pretty good neighborhood in Houston, Texas. And I think he and Kennison are in the Houston comedy scene at the same time. Um,
Which makes total
he's more intelligent. He's more Carlin than Kennison. He's a little bit more of a thinker, and he's gonna attack. But I read his autobiography. I got deep into him 20 years ago after he passed. Read books about him. He was there's a group of comedians that other comedians love. Um, Dave Attell's in that group. Like they're just kind of like comics. Like all the comics show up to watch these people do what they do, and there's been many of them. But definitely Hicks was one that was kind of legendary for walking rooms, where he was gonna attack the audience until every audience member left. Like if he thought it was a bad crowd, it was their fault and he was going to attack the crowd, whether just doing things that are so offensive, acting like he's taking a shit on the
yeah.
stage, and making the sound effects for it. Like he would just do stuff to go, "Oh, you're not laughing tonight?" Like it just, so that becomes legendary. There's not a lot of people who've done it, but walking a room is a thing where people are like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Andrew Dice Clay's famous for
Oh, man,
doing
he'll
it,
tear a room
like
apart.
not doing his
Yeah.
hits. Apparently there's a really good double album of him just
The
doing.
Day That Laughter Died, and I could speak about it, dude. It's absolutely one of the most savage. I mean,
Yeah.
dude, you can hear people leaving through the entire thing. He is tearing motherfuckers apart. It is, and there's, I mean, I know that is, it's so refreshing to hear comedy like that,
Yeah.
even though it's
Yeah.
cringe now, but back then,
It is. It
God,
is.
man. And,
It is.
Bill Hicks' impact, I mean, Clutch is still writing songs and mentioning Bill Hicks in their songs in the last, 5 or 10 years. He's still mentioned in popular culture, and he's still watched a lot on, even though it feels like it doesn't, like, I know exactly, like, we're going to talk about Kinnison when we get to my list, and yeah, you watch that stuff now, man, and it certainly is a struggle to watch.
Some of it.
Yeah, some of it's
This
hilarious.
one though, this one on this show,
Yeah,
unreal. Like, and it's not a long set, um, and all relative.
yeah,
Like everything he's talking about still holds up. We're still at the war. We're still at war. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing that. So it's just one of maybe the most complete. There's some stuff that you're just kind of like, ooh. But just to watch a guy come out talk about, you think he's kind of a non-smoker, and then he just attacks non-smokers, pulls out a cigarette on a stage, lights it, smokes the whole time he's up there. He's chain smoking cigarettes, which I had never seen a comic
no,
on a TV show, like smoking during their act. And
yeah,
some of the jokes are about smoking. Half of it is about how good drugs are, which is, if I mean, I'm not going to do it here, but it might be one of the best 5 or 7 minutes about drugs ever written, that still uh holds up. His take on it just being, like what we talked about: never hurt anybody, never raped anybody, never robbed anybody, never stole from anybody, never lied to anybody, laughed my ass off, had a great time.
yeah,
Where's my commercial?
right.
you know and the hypocrisy of a beer commercial versus,
Yes.
you know what I mean,
Yeah.
like he just, like, he's, I mean, he attacks people, and he gets down in people's faces in the audience in a very Kinnison kind
Yeah.
of a way. They were not
This might be
dissimilar.
the Houston delivery, like,
Yeah,
I mean,
it was, these are, the two we're talking about. You're going to talk about Sam, just assassins, man. Like, I mean, so I would say anybody should go look at Hicks. Like, if you're a fan of stand-up comedy, he is legit for a reason. There's no question. Died too young. Probably good. It would have been as prolific as Louis C.K. Would have been a great. I don't think there's any argument. His brain just worked.
that
He was
way.
attacking. He was attacking Ronald Reagan in office when you didn't do that. Like, the other thing is, when Carlin's doing it and Hicks is doing it, and Carlin comes out on stage and he's like, "We'll kill the fuck out of some brown people. If you're brown, look the fuck out." You know, um, you didn't attack the government.
No.
Like, it was not. You didn't go on a special and talk about we're winning wars, right? It's the Gulf War. Everybody's run around going, "We are who we thought we were.
Yep.
We will kill the shit out of you.
Yep.
Our losses are few. Your losses are
Don't
many.
mess with the United
Technology."
States. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's really the energy. I felt it. I was proud. We were kicking ass over in Iraq. Like, I'm in high school. Like, that's how I feel. And then he
Blessed.
comes and makes you feel like an idiot
Yeah.
for thinking that way.
Yep.
He goes, "What the fuck?" He's like, "The Republican Guard? We beat the Republican Guard? Who the fuck do you think makes up the Republican Guard in Iraq?" And it's just like, like, do you understand what weapons these people
Yeah.
have and their training,
Have you seen a
and you
Scud missile? Like,
yeah, and you just kind of go, God, I'm bought in, and I always like when someone's like, "Are you looking at this
yeah,
right, man?"
yeah.
You
Good set of
know,
eyes,
you
right?
know, oh yeah, and I don't, I mean, and it's not even about which perspective is right or one being wrong versus the other. It's just, hey, there's a different way to be looking at this, and
You should
maybe we're not the
consider
good
your
guy.
viewpoint, right?
Maybe we're not the good guy,
Right. Absolutely.
and you kind of go, whoa, fuck, like,
Mediums
I'm
could do
wearing an
that if they
American
were
flag necklace,
yeah,
man.
mediums could do that if they had enough power. I mean, if they had enough, you know I
No,
mean, they really can change your
just
face.
felt very irreverent.
Yeah,
And now everybody criticizes everybody.
agreed.
I'm telling you, it was not done. And then when you're trying to make it as a comic and you finally get time on HBO, you're not doing stuff that doesn't make you everybody's favorite person.
Yeah,
So he's pushing buttons, like his goal is to make it, but he's uncompromising. It
the
is,
best kind of
this is
comic.
my take. He's not doing stand up to be famous. He's doing it because he has a perspective and he has to get it out.
Yeah,
Like, you know what I mean? Like he's got
it's an
to
outlet.
an outlet. So it's an incredibly strong set. It may be the most complete because even his longer stuff, I think, would lose you a little bit. But I would say if you're a fan of comedy and you have not listened to Bill Hicks, some of it's going to be dated. Stick with it. There are some gems in there that will last the test of time. And, you have to kind of understand when he's saying that, when Sam Kinison is saying what Sam says. This is not how comedy's done. It is dudes with glasses, ties, suits with shoulder pads, funky sets that are very swatch looking. It's Ellen DeGeneres in a gray suit, and this is not comedy looks really different, and you can watch this on these things and see it, and then a Bill Hicks shows up, and then a Sam Kinison shows up, and then one of these otherworldly people show up, and you go, oh fuck, like they're doing something the other ones aren't doing, and the other ones are great and funny, and it's a laugh, but man, there's a handful that have swam through that just go, there's a different way to do
Yeah,
this, you know?
yeah,
So, and I'll tell you the move with the willies,
yeah.
because it's what I got. It's what I got. It's how I got. And then, um, uh, when I was going out to my buddies, he was like, hey, pick up a bottle of that Willie's on your way over. Cause it's $60, dude.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, it's Willie's infused social tonic. Worth every penny.
I'm gonna have to go get some.
No, but what I'm saying is make someone buy it and bring it to you.
Oh, really?
Like, I'm gonna have this for when people come over. If anyone wants to try it, I'm cheap. That's too much to drink. Uh, that's too much to just for me to just hang out and sip on.
Well, I mean, I would say this, like, if I bought one, it would be just special occasion only because I mean, I don't drink enough.
Yeah, I buy a liquor bottle for $25. Like, you know what I mean? This is for if people come over and I'm like, has anybody ever had this?
Yeah. Got a
Would someone like to
technician
try it?
texting me right now.
No way.
Yep.
Yeah. My fifth
Yeah.
one, right? So, and this was part of me wants to go. My fifth one is this. I can't do it on a list like this because it's such a deep. It's worth.
You gotta
It's
touch you
almost
gotta touch it lightly, right?
yeah, but it's almost like why even start when I know this would be a great on its own, maybe two-parter in its own when you if you really want to deep dive because there's good content
Well,
on this.
I'll
But
need
it's
to
Larry.
deep dive into more of
Yeah.
the material, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
we should probably just keep
yeah,
watching it. But Larry Sanders Show.
yeah.
So this is to me like I don't know. Not at the time, certainly. It was on high rotation. It's a big HBO series. It stars Gary Shandling, Jeffrey Tambor, Rip Torn. It's the first time we see behind the scenes of the talk shows we've all grown up on.
Right.
It's literally no one knows what happens backstage. It is a magic show. If it's the Tonight Show or any of those, right? The Late Show, totally, no one literally has any idea. Like
Right.
no one has ever seen a camera from behind the curtain.
No.
Like the curtain people walk out
Yeah.
of, just as basic as that.
It was hard
Like,
when I watched it back in the day to go, "What's happening?" Yeah,
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah. So, you know, trying to turn my flashlight off. Turn it off. It has become, I would say, my favorite comedy television show. The times I've dipped back into it over the years, because I always kind of liked it. It was on a lot in the early 90s
right.
on HBO. I would definitely catch it. It was good then. I watched it again on HBO probably in the mid 2000s, and then I was like, I think this is the best show I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Right? Like I just
If
totally
you're in a
rewatched
different
it.
place, different time of
It was in a different
yeah,
place, just totally rewatched it, and then I think I probably watched it again almost all the way through a few years ago, because it's a good thing to kind of have on when I'm messing around on my phone. It's just very funny. You just kind of want it around, and it's so of that time period and the clothes and who the people are on the show. It was very
yeah,
nostalgic for me. To watch any of it, and uh, so, I mean, I don't remember what my fucking point was about that, but I absolutely love the show. Right now, I would say it's my favorite comedy show that has ever been on television. Um, it wasn't at the time. It is right now. It may not be in 5 years, but I think it is the coolest look behind a talk show in a way that is highlights the insecurity of the host, how difficult the guests can be,
yep,
what I think it's the first time I realized there's a writer's room where there's a group of people sitting in a room writing the jokes that these guys come out and say. I
yeah,
would have told you Johnny Carson wrote down what he was going to say, or I would have told you, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Or the,
yeah,
again, HBO, very adult, lots of sexual situations. He's always dating these beautiful women and hitting on them. And, his fucking agent is Bob Odenkirk. Um, his booker is Janine
yeah.
Garofalo. Um,
That thing's loaded,
he's
loaded.
loaded. And those are like alt comedy
Yeah,
people. And then you'd have straight comedy people, because like the David Cross, Janine Garofalo, Bob Odenkirk, Brian Posehn. Um, there was a real, like when grunge came out, so did alt comedy.
right.
Right? So comedians go from wearing sport coats to wearing flannel and having notes on a stool next to them, right? There's this really big change in comedy that Janine Garofalo and David Cross and those guys kind of did, where it isn't I'm showing up in a nice sport jacket. It was t-shirt and jeans. And they occupy a place on the Larry Sanders Show,
Yeah,
right? They're young, also trying to act at the time, and then you've got, the celebrities of the day coming through because it's treated like a real talk show in the time that those talk shows were going on. So, like you and I were talking about My Office, if Jennifer Aniston shows up on the Larry Sanders Show about a fake talk show, she's probably on there the same week. She's also on Conan and
well,
also
maybe on
on
Seinfeld.
Letterman.
Seinfeld shared that set too. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. It was an inside look. It's The Office before The Office. It's so it's Ricky Gervais has said it influenced him on that show
yeah,
in creating it. I mean, it was groundbreaking at the time. Now I don't remember. I'm sure there's lots of articles that say it was. To me, I was young. It was just entertaining and kind of a cool peek behind.
right.
But like understanding now what he did then,
It's awesome.
and this is a guy who was offered late night jobs and turned them down to do a show parodying late night shows. Um, it's just the attention to detail is fucking
Yeah.
awesome. Like, just like the banter when they're not on is some of the best stuff. Like when they go to commercial and then he's stuck there talking to somebody, or how weird it gets because he doesn't want to talk to him. It was like just all stuff I had never even considered,
Yeah, I read that they
you know?
moved off of, like, actual audience and more to, like, a, kind of an audio background for the audiences because sessions became so long and grueling with the audience trying to sit there that, uh, yeah, it just like, I think that's what kind of ended up kind of killing the show was just that some of that just kinda took its toll on the show.
He was
Yeah.
obsessed. Like he was a very, very complicated guy. Judd Apatow did a really good documentary on him. Uh, and you just go, this is a tortured, not tortured dark, just
Tortured with
just kind
ideas,
of
tortured with
yeah, yeah. Well, maybe some inner turmoil, trying to kind of find peace. Big into meditation. Tom Petty was his neighbor. He'd hang out
okay.
with Tom Petty.
Yeah.
He's really kind of, but his acting coach is on set the whole time, and he's really into trying to
Method.
capture
Yeah.
this total realism. Like he was kind of like it wasn't like, hey, that's clever, like Seinfeld. This is funny. It was more like his obsession. Uh, Real plot lines would make it into the show. He had a big split with the guy who, Brad Gray, who was kind of his partner, but also agent for celebrities, and they had a big split in the middle of it. Were suing each other, and he was just really he was really intense about the show
Yeah.
in a way that I think he ran people off. He had, like Judd Apatow was one of the directors and writers on the show, and just talks about he had seen him just dress people down. Like, you don't even understand what we're doing.
Right.
Like someone would joke, and he'd go, you don't even know what this show is," and just like tear them to pieces, and it quit. He fucking his hot Hank's assistant, Doucette, I think is her last name, Linda Doucette, is his girlfriend in real life. He breaks up with her, fires her off the show.
Damn.
She sues him, like, that's wrongful termination. Like, you just fired me from my TV series because we broke up. Yeah. Yeah, and then she's replaced by Scott Thompson as Hank's assistant from Kids in the Hall, another alt comedy um, uh, little arena. But I don't. I would just say um, this is probably my favorite of the five that we talked about by a mile. I still like watching it. When I wrote it down, I got to start them again and watch several of the episodes. Absolutely check this out if you have any. If you like, I don't know. I don't even know if someone would get it because it is kind of our first peek behind it. I think it's still very funny. It just probably happens to be my favorite comedy television series ever. And we'll do a deeper dive on it at some point because it's just the family tree of this show is insane. Like
It
it's
spawns
kind of
out
what
it spawns off a lot of shows, man. It really
it spawns off a ton of
yeah,
shows. And the things he was doing that no one was doing when you go back and watch this show, there are a lot of them we're talking
yep,
about because it doesn't end with any one thing. And the characters and the choices for who plays who. I mean, it's Rip Torn, man. This dude's fucking awesome. Yeah, I don't know. I just thought it's definitely my favorite of the five. It's not why it's number five, but man, I can still watch it. It's still great. Nothing about it. I don't have any problem with any of it at any point. Uh, uh, being dated, like I'm in. So, yeah, that's it. That's my five.
David and Mark give us that top five HBO specials this week. Welcome to the hold up.